Hi, this is Daniel. I'm here in Australia, in a park in North Melbourne, near the airport. It's very windy and there are planes coming around, so the video audio quality will suck. The camera quality and visual quality will also suck because I'm using an iPhone because I haven't bought a camera yet. But at least there are kangaroos. Look, there's a bunch of kangaroos there. Yeah, and I'm shooting my video here, and I'm going to talk to you about how Australia kind of proves that you don't have to be smart to be rich. And I'll explain. Most countries we know that are rich, like take Switzerland for example, they have very complex productive structures, and they have like really high quality products, and that's what makes them wealthy. So for example, watches and even chocolate, for example, they make it the best that anyone else makes it, and they sell it for a big margin, and then they're rich because of it. But with Australia, what's interesting here is they sell very, well, how to put it, very normal stuff. Like they sell uh, very common products, primary products that they go to mines for and all that. I don't know exactly which minerals they're big on and which minerals they're not big on, but you get what I mean. They're big on minerals. They're big on that kind of thing, and uh, they're still quite wealthy. And they're wealthy despite not even having that good of an educational system. I'll get to point, but here in Australia, you can have a fucking great life being a tradie, being someone who's not dumb, of course, not at all, but who's not technically IQ type educated. And the reason for that is that those kind of professions are overrated. You don't need to be smart. You just need to be productive, and you need to know your shit, and you need to have a particular skill. And Australia is really good on that. Besides Switzerland, which is also good, they have a very comprehensive vocational education, which really guides students towards a very specific career that doesn't take a 4-year college degree to actually attain. And so that makes it easier for people to actually get qualified, get skilled, and get jobs without necessarily going through very long periods of study. Also, overall, from what I've heard from people who are going to college here, and also from people who've gone to high school, to middle school here, school's actually not that hard. I was talking to my brother. Well, he's only 10, but he said the school in Australia was much easier, primary school that is, was much easier than school back home in terms of what he had to learn and what he was required and all that. Same for other people that are going to college. They said that college in the U.S., there was a Colombian saying college in Colombia, they're both much harder than college in Australia. And that is an interesting analogy because like we think we have to like know nuclear physics or something to actually make a living, but no, you need to know how to, I don't know, build something, or how to do construction, or how to make a proper electrical system, or those kind of things, which are obviously their knowledge, but they're not high skilled labor knowledge. They're like mid skilled labor knowledge that you can master from a young age if you really put yourself to it, you know? And those professions pay great here. They're like really valued, and that's because I think my generation especially, we don't want to work with our hands. We want to do all intellectual work, and that kind of puts a higher price on people who are willing to get their hands dirty, you know? And so despite being a country where, honestly, in my opinion, college is not the top-notch, hottest college there is, school throughout primary, middle, and high school is not the highest there is either, where professions that are paid are not like software engineer professions, but instead tradies and plumbers and those kind of professions. Despite all that, Australia is still immensely wealthy, and it goes to show that it's, first of all, the focus on vocation and practical skills. That is definitely one thing, and second, just the general overall freedom that Australia has had, because in the past, well, 100 years or so since the Constitution of Australia was formally introduced, Australia really did inspire itself in just the best of the best. You know, it got a little bit of the Westminster kind of system. It got a little bit of the American system with federalism and all that. It got a little bit of the Swiss system with referendums, and it just made for a very overall sound government. Was there problems? One problem I heard about online is how individual provinces and states in Australia can't actually tax people, and so they have no income. And so even though they're theoretically meant to do stuff, the federal government, which is the controller of money, can actually influence what the states are going to do through grants. So it makes for a little bit more of a centralized system, which gradually took power away from the states and into the federation, into Canberra, pretty much. And obviously that's not ideal. But if you look at it overall, Australia is still reasonably decentralized. Maybe not as Switzerland, of course. Maybe not as much as the U.S. But it is decentralized. It is efficient. Government runs quickly, you know. My experience is comparing the countries I've lived in. Australia is by far the swiftest one to deal with, you know, government-wise. It's very strict, it's very formal, but it's very swift. It's very quick and on the go. And I think it does have to do, first of all, with the smaller population, second, with the decentralization, and third, with just the principles that it inspired itself on when they were building the state, when they were formally building the government. And despite, like I said, not having a genius startup software, I don't know, technology or huge IT companies or whatever, and being really focused on primary sector jobs and on agriculture and on, I don't know, on mines and on, like I said, trading professions and all that, they still managed to be an insanely wealthy country. And I think that this is definitely at least part of it. I mean, it might also be, and that's also part of it, that they were very lucky to find very valuable minerals in their territory. That's definitely part of the truth. And since it's a low population, the natural resource per capita ends up being really, really high. So that obviously helps, but it's an incomplete picture, I would say, because there's lots of countries, Venezuela, other countries with very rich mineral sources, natural resources and all that, but that aren't actually that well off because they didn't know how to manage it, because they didn't have a sound government, and because they didn't focus on what needs to be focused on to actually generate wealth, which is people doing things appropriate to their skill levels in a practical sense, and not being completely, let's say, drowned in extra information throughout the educational system, which creates just useless fact knowers that actually have no practical skills.